Okay, well, this is a first for my channel. I honestly never planned on reviewing demos simply because they're demos, but seeing as how it is the Halloween season, I'm doing this whole Doomtober thing, I figured I might as well go over Cultic. Cultic is a game that's being developed by Jason Smith, and it was announced at Realms Deep about a month ago. I saw the trailer for it and it piqued my interest, so I went over to Steam to wishlist it, and lo and behold, there's a free demo available. So I thought, hey, might as well try it out, see if it's any good. It's pretty fucking good. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this or anything, but I'm genuinely impressed how a demo that only has one level managed to make me replay it like 7 times in one day. I really wish I was joking about that. There's a lot to Cultic that in my opinion makes it stand out and gives it a lot of potential to maybe even be one of the best retro shooters I've played. One very noticeable aspect of Cultic is the sound design. It's crisp, it's chunky, it's fucking orgasmic. I'd go as far as to say that it even carries the entire game, and while that might sound entirely ridiculous because something that is barely even tied to the core gameplay is what I'd consider the best part of the game, but I think it's neat. With sound design this good, I feel like Cultic in a way highlights the importance of it in games. Having amazing sound design greatly improves the overall experience. If you're ever going to make a game, you need to have shit that sounds this fucking satisfying, because it's stuff like this that makes players want to keep playing your game. Every kill should feel rewarding and leave you wanting more. Also, the weapon selection here is pretty damn good too. This is my own personal opinion, but I do really love World War II weapons. They're just so unique and recognizable. So seeing a Sten and especially a Mauser made me really happy. There's also a lever action rifle. I love seeing this gun in games too. Of course, there's also the genre staple double barrel shotgun. Surprisingly, it doesn't feel like the workhorse of the roster, but I don't mind that at all. I like double barrels just as much as the next person, but if you give me the option to choose between any of these three or a double barrel, I'm definitely going with the former. And you've also got a nice callback to Blood, the dynamite bundles. Personally, I don't like using these. Blood kinda spoiled me with its dynamite bundles and how they explode on impact. Also, both lighting the fuse and throwing the dynamite is all done with one button in that game, as opposed to this where you have to press like 4 keys just to toss it. I'm over exaggerating obviously, but yeah, using the dynamite just feels a little sluggish to me. Last but not least, there's also the hatchet, the first weapon you start off with, and it's actually super reliable. Definitely one of the best melee weapons I've played around with in any shooter so far. You can swing it around, or you could go ahead and just throw it square in the fucking nose of a cultist. Yet again, it's also really satisfying to use. At times on a killing blow, the game will go in slow motion so you could just see their face being absolutely demolished. I fucking love it when games do shit like this. Another important thing to know is that Cultic's combat is actually pretty slow and grounded. You're not going to be running around and doing insane jump shots or anything. Now normally I wouldn't really like this, but honestly this kind of combat fits in very well, and it's also partially the reason why I like using the hatchet so much. Usually in fast-paced games the melee weapon becomes obsolete the moment you get your hands on your first weapon, but that's not the case with Cultic and I respect that. There's also a huge lack of large enemy hordes and enemy variety in general. You're really only going up against crazy cultists, but seeing as how the first level ended, I could tell that that's exactly what the game is going for. I don't want to give too much away, but you do face a stronger foe, and the way it's introduced is perfectly executed. The level design also feels both open and linear at the same time. I know that sounds kind of weird, and it is. I don't really know how to describe it very well, but there's a lot of branching paths that all sort of lead you to where you're supposed to go. It's nothing super crazy, but it's enough to make me feel like the whole level is open. And because of this, I get a big tendency to take these paths or at times interact with literally everything just to see if I'll find a secret. I like this. It's big enough for the player to discover things while also being small enough where no matter where you go, you'll never feel lost. And best of all, there's no key hunting. Well, there is, but it's not even that bad. You only need 2 keys and the game's level design basically guides you directly to them. Quite honestly, the only real thing that I have an issue with so far are the visuals. And it's not like they're ugly or anything, it's just with everything being voxels and sharing a similar color palette, it makes it difficult to identify items and at times see enemies from a distance. But apart from that, everything else about this game so far has been a straight up banger. I'm not going to give it a grade yet because it's a demo, but it's a really good demo. And I'm seriously looking forward to checking this game out when it's fully complete. If you like what you've seen, then I 100% recommend checking out the demo and keeping your eyes peeled for any future updates.